You are welcome to the Lord TV, your number one fantastic reality TV that gives you all that it takes to be enlightened on trending news such as politics, entertainment, sports, and what have you. If you are new on this channel, kindly click on the subscribe button as well as already subscribed. So please don't forget to drop your comments anytime I drop new videos. Thank you. Ciao, ciao. Viewers, we have an interesting trending news for you today, and the headline is "See what the refusal of the Supreme Court in setting aside its January 14 judgment has caused emulates." But before I proceed, don't forget to click on the red subscribe buttons as well as the bell button to get updated anytime we upload new videos. The news in details. It was wide celebration at the government house as party faithful trooped in to felicitate with the governor. Governor Uzodinma, who was attending a state function when the news was delivered, danced with his supporters who displayed various fireworks at the street. Justice Olukayode Ariwola, who read the majority verdict, held the application was an invitation for the apex court to sit on appeal over its final judgment in violation of the constitution. This application is considered lacking in merit and liable to be dismissed. To ask us to set aside the judgment of the court delivered on January 14, 2020, in an invitation to ask us to sit on appeal against our own judgment, we cannot do so. To set aside our judgment in this instance is to open the floodgates to other parties to remove the judgment of this court. To do that is to say the least, bring the court into disrepute and ridicule. In the circumstance, this application is accordingly dismissed. Even though costs follow events, parties are to bear their own costs. Those who agreed with this reasoning were the Chief Justice of Nigeria (CJN), Justice Ibrahim Muhammad, Justice Sylvester Nguta, Kudirat Kekereekun, Amina Aji, and Mary Abba Aji. But in his dissenting ruling, Justice Chima Nweze said Uzodinma misled the court in arriving at the judgment which removed Ihedioha from office after about 10 months. He said there was no evidence placed before the court that Governor Uzodinma satisfied the required spread to have been declared winner of the poll. He said Uzodinma failed to give evidence of how he won the election and held that the votes which was used to declare him winner was in excess of the accredited votes for the election. He held that Uzodinma mischievously misled the court into unjust conclusion with the unverified votes credited to himself in the disputed 388 polling units. In my intimate reading of the January 14 judgment, the meat and substance of Ihedioha's matters were lost to time frame. This court once set aside its own earlier judgment and therefore cannot use time frame to extinguish the rights of any person. This court has powers to overrule itself and can revisit any decision not in accordance with justice, he said. Notwithstanding Justice Nweze's position, Governor Uzodinma said it was final victory for God to ensure uninterrupted flow of prosperity to all Imo people. He called on Ihedioha to join him in moving the state forward, saying what was more important was making the state great. He said he has come with open mind to serve the people and express belief that God will see him through in his administration to develop the state. However, PDP alleged that by the victory, the six apex court justices have endorsed electoral fraud. In a statement by its national publicity secretary, Kola Olobodiyan, PDP, and in spite of the verdict, Justice Nweze's minority judgment presented a glimpse of hope for the country judiciary. Our party abides completely by every word of the judgment of Justice Nweze as treated facts, which are truly sacred. Justice Nweze's pronouncement, which went straight into the substance of our application, represents a universal view about the travesty of justice that occurred in judgment. It is indeed unfortunate that the Supreme Court had a wholesome opportunity to redeem itself and correct its error, but chose to hide behind technicality to justify and endorse an electoral fraud. What Nigerians expect of the Supreme Court since the error in its earlier judgment had been fully established was to summon the courage to affirm its infallibility by correcting the error and handing over victory to the rightful winner. Sadly, it failed to do so. But in its reaction, APC described the dismissal of the application as refreshing. National chairman of APC, Adams Oshomole, who was on a private visit to President Muhammadu Buhari, told State House correspondents the decision was predictable. We know that Ihera did not have the required number, and that is a fact that nobody has ever disputed. How anybody thought he can impose someone who did not meet the spread is only known to PDP. It's because they specialize in rigging and they see rigging as their birthright that they could have the guts to be protesting in front of foreign embassies as if Nigeria is a colony under the supervision of some foreign powers. So I think what the Supreme Court has done today is just reaffirm that they are supreme, and whatever they did the last time was on the basis of what was before them. They did not make mistakes. There are no gaps, no ambiguity, and therefore there was no basis to reapproach them to sit on the appeal in their own judgment. I think they are just being consistent with the position they took in previous cases. We are happy and we thank God that the whole litigation process has come to an end. Amid subdued mood in the state of following the judgment, the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, expressed sadness and described the judge's action as absolute corruption. In a statement by Emma Powerful, IPOB said it defies logic that unaccounted and untraceable result sheets were admitted by the court. The world will now understand how corrupt Nigerian judiciary really is. But former Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Godfrey Dikeocha, hailed it as justice according to law and not sentiment. He maintained that a contrary judgment would have amounted to an assault on the Constitution and the law. Its victory for the rule of law, integrity of the Supreme Court has been upheld by this judgment, Dikeocha said. Viewers, I will say that what has just been said by the Supreme Court is absolutely a way of protecting the law of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is actually trying to protect its integrity, but not unknown to them that the integrity of the Supreme Court can still be marred, can still be jeopardized if facts cannot come out of that Supreme Court. and not and for them to know this is a case that involve and attract international observers. And since it's a case, an issue that attracts international observers and different people from different places, I think what the apex court would have done is to do what is known as correction of facts. They should have tried on their own part to see how they can help in revisiting the judgment that has earlier been said by them, and see how errors made by their judgment can still be corrected. Even if it is said that it is improper for them to revisit the judgment, they would have still done so. So please, I don't know what your comment concerning this news may be, whatsoever it is, don't forget to leave them behind. Click on the subscription buttons as well as bell buttons to get updated anytime we upload new videos. Thank you.